You may have heard the expression, done is better than perfect. Well, today I want to talk about what that means and why that's a thing. Perfectionism. It's a tough thing. Many people, especially women, tend to, out of fear, perhaps as part of procrastination, get stuck into that trap where they think that everything that they put out there has to be perfect. But what is perfect? That's the thing that makes me really kind of bummed out about perfectionism. I will say I'm the queen of typos. I had an Instagram story up and my husband saw it last night and he was like, I can't, what does this even say? And I said, it has to do with the quote and the picture and it doesn't make any sense. And he's like, no, why do you have it up there? And I was like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. And he's like, people care. Okay, so polar opposites on that. I get so anti-perfectionism that I have typos. People do care. You shouldn't have typos everywhere. I did delete the Instagram story. I'll admit that. But a lot of the reason why I don't care is because I very strongly feel that done is better than perfect. There's a old tech adage, old, 20 years old maybe Steve Jobs, the just ship it, that you should be embarrassed about the first rendition that you put out there, that you should not be waiting until you feel like something is done before you make it available to people. That's why with every app, with everything that you use, there are updates and versions and they're adding to it. So think about that. If you are trying to put something out there, it's okay if you're later embarrassed by it. Some would say that if you're not embarrassed by it, you waited too long. And the reason why you probably waited too long was because you were trying to make it perfect. I also want to remind you that every time you say you're going to wait for something to be perfect, you're never going to reach that level of perfection because you're not defining what perfect is. And that's okay. You probably don't know. There's just probably some little thing in your gut that's like, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. It's just fear. It's just you're more being afraid that you're going to be judged, that you'll fail, that you'll have your feelings maybe hurt or something like that. But you know what? You can create the next thing and move on. The great thing about people being so self-involved these days and being part of such a fast-moving world is that everybody forgets things really quickly. I strongly urge you to not worry about things being perfect. I do recommend that you have some systems in place to make sure that you do have those typos fixed. If it's a really big project, invest in people helping you to make sure that you are putting your best foot forward and not embarrassing yourself by writing gibberish like I did in that Instagram story. I have started writing books. The first thing that I did was think about who my editor would be. Why? Because I'm the queen of typos. I can't trust myself to edit things. And in general, I want that last look on there to make sure that I am putting out something that I'm not embarrassed by. So sure, have people involved in your team. Have people with checks and balances in your processes as part of your system to make sure that you're not embarrassing yourself and you are putting quality work out there. But also trust that what you are doing and the work that you are putting in there. If you are feeling in your gut that, I think I'm kind of there, and then you're working on, I don't know, could it be done? You're probably done. You're ready to hand it off to that editor, or you're ready to open it up to the world and to get out there. The reality is that most people would much rather have you helping solve their problem 85% of the way than they would not having their problem solved until you're sure you can solve it 100%. We right now in this time of COVID and vaccines, the vaccines are not 100%. We still can't wait to get them. Some of us can't. That's a controversial subject we won't get into, but you're understanding more of the sense of needing to solve the problem is often greater than perfect. Plus, like I said, we don't know what perfect means. Rather, create a checklist. Make sure that you've accomplished all the things that you do. Put your best work into it. Give focus to the project that you're working on. Be sure that you have checks and balances set up. So either you are having time to review it and having time to make sure that your work is good, or having an accountability partner or an editor or a coach of some sort who can check for you. Perhaps if you are in a collaborative project that you do have people in your team that are checking it and saying, it is ready. Let them know. I'm never going to know this is ready. I'm in that perfection trap. I need help. and they will help you with that. But the worst thing that you can do is feel like you can't put it out there until it's perfect, because it never will be. So move on from that. Set up your checks and balances and get the help that you need and make you feel confident in putting your work out there. I hope today you are slightly inspired to not feel that things have to be perfect. Done is better than perfect. I'm Sierra Bailey with Doers, Shakers, Makers, and this was this week's business tip. Thank you for watching, and if you like what you're seeing, subscribe so that you can see another business tip every Tuesday.